What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Radical Health. Today, I'm going to share with you the top 5 things that I learned as a vegan. So for the last 4 years, I've been consuming only plant foods, no animal products whatsoever, with the exception of a few times when I cheated. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that as being part of the transition process. But 4 years, no animal products, no meat, eggs, dairy, honey. Again, with a few small exceptions during the first couple of years. But I have 5 amazing takeaways to share with you. So let's dive into them, shall we? The first thing I learned as a vegan is why we do this. Why people ever do this. Why would you stop eating what most of the world consumes when it tastes so good and it's everywhere? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. And there's 2 main pillars. I believe that anyone who wants to do this plant-based or vegan thing, you got to have 2 pillars. On one side, you got to have animal rights and the feeling and the knowledge that it is wrong to kill another animal when you don't have to. That's key for your sustenance. So when you don't have to, there's other options out there that could even nourish you better. It is morally wrong to murder an animal and consume its dead flesh. That is one pillar that you have to have. That, at least that I've created in my life. I have a pillar here that is for the animals. The other pillar on this side is my personal health. When you stop consuming animals and their secretions, inflammation can go down. Parasites can go down. All sorts of symptoms can go down. But it kind of depends on what you replace the animal products with, right? Because there's such thing as junk food vegan, and you can eat entirely processed food diet and still be vegan, and that's not what I'm advocating for. But as far as the why do this? Well, we learned that consuming animal products chronically leads to higher rates of disease. We know that from the China study. We know that by studying physiology and studying the process of concentrated protein breakdown, metabolism, catabolism. We get products like harsh acids, phosphoric acid, uric acid, sulfuric acid. And that's one reason why we stop eating those things. Consuming milk can rob the body of calcium because the milk is acidic. The common idea that you have to drink milk for calcium for your bones is so backwards, because in reality, we've discovered through many studies that confirm and reiterate this, that milk consumption will rob the bones of calcium. So that's the personal health side. That's the pillar over here of personal health. Animal products can lead to complications in the body. We don't need protein and fat like that. Not to mention all the salt that comes with it. And it's just so high in fat, animal foods. We don't need that. So the personal health is one pillar. The animal rights is the other. If you don't buy the animal rights part yet, if you think that animals exist for our pleasure and for our consumption, please watch the film Earthlings. NationEarth.com. Just watch Earthlings. Let me know what you think after that. Or place yourself in that category of animals and ask yourself, is it okay to just go around and snatch humans? Or better yet, I'll breed my own humans for my own consumption. That way I don't have to steal from anybody. Does that seem moral to you? Does that seem normal, natural? I don't think so. So that's the why. That is reason number 1, is the why we do this. It's better for the animals and it's better for me. Now, there might be a third pillar for some people, the environment. I don't even count that one, because I know that my personal health is my environment. The animal's life has to do with their environment. The environment encapsulates everything. It's part of everything. So yes, I want to reduce pollution in the world, and I'm doing that through my food choices, but that's not really why I entered this game. I entered this game because I don't want to kill animals and I don't want to kill myself. All right, number 2. What is the second big thing I learned going vegan? You need time to transition. At least I did. Most people do. I first learned about vegetarianism years before I went vegan, and I actually experimented with it. I would go vegetarian for a summer or a month or a day, and just play around with it, but I never fully committed until 2021. By the way, when I was in my 30s. So a lot of people choose this lifestyle much younger. Some do it older. It's never too late. It's never too late to level up your health and stop contributing to animal exploitation. So you need time to transition, meaning if you do want to go vegan overnight, cool. Set that goal and work toward it. If you find yourself craving so bad to the point of quote unquote cheating and eating some cheese or an egg or whatever you want, a chicken sandwich, because your cravings are so bad, don't worry. Enjoy it and get back on the horse. Because what you're going to find is that those cravings are going to diminish over time, and that you'll be able to go longer without experiencing such harsh cravings. So that's what I did. I went vegan in May 2021, and throughout that summer, I was having a hard time driving past certain establishments and smelling certain foods, and I would go in and get some. Not every time. Just when I was really craving. There were some times when I was highly emotional for other reasons. And, I just went for it. And I think that helped me wean off. So the foods in question were really like eggs. I love egg sandwiches. I did. I loved eating them for breakfast. And sometimes you just want that hot, greasy egg sandwich. Starchy, with a bagel or whatever. And there were just a few times in my journey where I had to kind of wean myself off them by enjoying them. And the time distance between each one got longer and longer and longer. And then I noticed, it's been 6 months since I've had one. Oh, it's been a year. And now it's been 3 years, It was really just that first year of being vegan where I definitely had some eggs. I definitely had some fish. And I may have had some cheese. Yeah. But that was all part of my transition process. And that's why I think it's important to include that. Let yourself transition. Because now I don't crave any of that. I gave myself what I needed. At that time, enough time's passed, and I'm good. Actually, the thought of eggs and cheese kind of disgusts me right now. Same with meat. So don't worry too much about the cheating. If you do, don't kick yourself that hard. And in fact, love yourself and hug yourself and look at how far it's been since you had that thing the last time. Chances are it'll have been longer than the previous time. So it's all good. It's all progress. And if a cheeseburger is going to help you stop eating cheeseburgers, and I know that to be true for some people, one of my good friends told me that. It was an experience eating a cheeseburger that made him not ever want to eat one again. So if that's going to be a tool to help you get where you want to be, even though it sounds counterintuitive and opposite of what we're really going for, let yourself transition. Let yourself just have those moments and then get back on the horse. Number 3. The third thing I learned as a vegan for the last 4 years is that there are downsides. The downsides are mostly social, because everybody thinks you're weird when you do this. And it's much harder to eat out. Go out to restaurants, cafes, bars, whatever, in the world, in society, and enjoy what they're offering. Most of it contains animal products. Even the salads. Most salads on most menus contain cheese. What's up with that? And I know you can just order it without cheese, but that ingredient's part of the flavor of that dish. And so when you start removing all the animal products and the dressings from these salads, you're left with like lettuce and tomato, these like cheap produce, lettuce and tomatoes sometimes. And that's why it's just hard. It's challenging, and sometimes you have to make your own food. And that might be hard for you. If you're used to just quick, fast food, well, you're kind of in luck because there are quick, fast foods that are really, really good for you, like fruit, like bananas and oranges. The only time it takes to prepare them is the time it takes to peel them and then wash your hands and dispose of the compost afterwards. So another one, smoothies. You throw some ingredients into a blender, hit the button, wait 10 seconds, and then you have this delicious, banana, greens, dates, berries smoothie with a few ingredients that don't take any time to prepare. So it is hard. It is challenging. You're going to find roadblocks and bumps and people questioning you. And that's one of the biggest parts is people going, why are you doing this? Don't you need protein? Where do you get your protein? They grill you. And it's so funny because if you decided to just bring over a huge box of Twinkies and share them with everybody, no one would ask you, why are you doing this? Isn't that too much artificial preservative? Isn't that too much sugar? You bring over a case of beer or, pepperoni pizza, and people don't grill you about that. They're like, yeah, let's eat it. And then when you're like, let's have a salad, they start to get on your case. So there are downsides. You're going to experience social friction. Just be prepared for it and eat at home more. Prepare your own food. Find good vegan restaurants. And my last tip ties into number 4, the 4th thing I learned as a vegan, which is that fruit-based and raw food is the way to go. Now, I don't mean exclusively 100% raw food. I don't want people cutting out certain staples in their diet just to try to fall in with some idea of like a perfect diet. There's no perfect diet. Some food is perfect. I think there's some perfect food, such as the cantaloupes I enjoyed yesterday and the day before and the day before that. I've been eating about 4 a day. They're not too big. They're, kind of medium sized. And they're so good. They're in season in Florida right now. And they're just so good. You slice it open, scoop out the seeds, and just start attacking that thing with a spoon. And that to me is a perfect food. I'm left satiated, full, happy, energized. It tastes delicious. It's like the best type of dessert you could ever ask for. And it's clean. There's no toxic effect. There's no toxic effect to cantaloupe unless there's toxic pesticide on it that's contaminated. But in its natural state, the perfect in-season fruits have no toxin, no toxic effect, no toxic byproduct, no toxic product. So, fruit-based is the way to go. You don't have to become 100% only raw fruit, but mangoes over fake egg. Okay? Cherries and grapes over fake meat. Watermelon and cantaloupe over cooked plants like cassava, potato. You can tell this is true for a number of reasons. It takes a long time to prepare these starchy cooked plants. You need seasoning for them to taste good. And they're difficult to harvest sometimes without killing the plant. You have to rip up the entire cassava root of the tree in order to eat it. Whereas fruit, on the other hand, it takes no time to prepare, no time to cook, no seasoning required. You don't have to kill the plant to harvest the fruit. That's like the biggest thing that separates fruit from all other food, besides it being completely delicious with no seasoning, is that it's freely given by the plant and there's no death involved. So anyone that claims like vegans kill more animals than meat eaters, you guys are out of your minds. Because one, we're directly stopping the killing of animals by, not paying for it anymore directly. And number 2, when you eat more fruit, no animals need to be harmed for it. Now I get commercial avocado production kills animals because they till the ground and they'll spray these avocados. But I'm not advocating for commercial industrial avocado production and consumption. Get the local stuff, get the organic stuff. Okay, so That was number 4. Fruit-based raw food is the way to go. Raw food contains living biophotonic energy, solar energy that's living. The living enzymes, these vitamins are also, they have a vibrational quality to them. They're living in a way. They're vibratory. When you cook foods, the vitamins and the enzymes lose their vibrational quality. So the enzymes don't work anymore. They're not catalyzing breakdown of food anymore. And you're also killing the microbiome of that food. There, if that food is raw, there's a subtle bacteria content. There's a fungal content, believe it or not. There's mycelium in everything. There's bacteria and yeast everywhere. It's coating everything. And it works with the other microbes in our bodies. So we kind of want the living food to be intact. That's why raw food is the best. It tastes the best. You don't have to kill the plant, generally speaking. Even with leaves, even with leafy greens, you just, as the lettuce or arugula grows, you just pick the bottom leaves off it and it continues to grow. No death involved. And you get those beautiful colors. So if you want these phytonutrients, the beta carotenes and the anthocyanins and the chlorophyll, like these are best found in raw living food. So that was number 4. Raw living food, fruit-based is the way to go if you want to go vegan. Avoid all the synthetic, oily, burnt, salty, processed foods. That's my personal philosophy. The last thing I learned 4 years as a vegan, this is number 5, is that there's no vegan agenda. Okay? There's no elite New World Order agenda for us all to go vegan. Do they want to minimize the amount of cows on this planet? Yes. Do they want to minimize the amount of chickens that you raise for your food? Yeah. But the real agenda that the quote-unquote elites, I don't like that word because they're not elite, they're not elevated, they're not elected, they don't represent the word L, which is godly. They don't represent that. They're not elite. These social controllers, what they want is for you to stay sick and just eat processed food. So honestly, they don't care if you're eating processed whey, processed crickets, caterpillar burgers, or synthetic soy. They really don't care as long as it's cheap for them and expensive for you. So you're not seeing fresh fruit advertised on television. You're seeing fast food, beef, it's what's for dinner, different chain restaurants that just serve dead corpses and secretions. There's really no agenda in society to push people to go vegan, except from the vegans. So, do I have an agenda? Do I have a vegan agenda? Well, in my life, my agenda in the morning says eat fruit, afternoon, eat vegetables and more fruit. Nuts, seeds, and grains as I please. And do I have an agenda for you to go vegan? No. I don't know what you should do in your life, but I want to share this information in hopes that it might click with someone who needs it. So not everyone's going to vibe with this. It takes a weirdo. It takes someone to stand out from the crowd to do this, to go vegan. You can call it plant-based. You can call it vegetarian. You can call it philosopher's diet. You can call it whatever you want. I understand that people don't like the V word because it's just triggering, or many vegans are militant and non-compassionate to other humans, which it's kind of silly. Come on, let's be nice to everybody. But it's tough. You see someone just cheering on the exploitation of these living, sentient, beautiful beings, and it's hard to be nice to them. It's hard to offer the same compassion you would offer anybody, but that's my call for anyone listening, is let's not make this a fight. Let's not divide others. Let's bring everyone together. This is what we're doing. This is why we do this, is for the animals, for life, for freedom, for health. So when we deliver the message, let's do it with love. Anyways, I love you. Thanks for listening. Hope that was interesting or informative. And I want to know, what did you learn as a vegan? You might have learned it didn't work for you. You might have learned some other stuff. And you can feel free to share. And I'll be back with more radical health coming your way soon. Subscribe to the new YouTube channel, School of Unlearning, and you'll see all the videos coming out. I have a new series of videos called The Tree of Life audiobook, and it's in 9 parts, and it's different sections of the Tree of Life narrated by me. And it's a book published in 1867 by Isaac Jennings. It's considered one of the foundational texts on natural hygiene and orthopathy. Right living, natural hygiene. So check out the other videos, check out the other episodes, and we'll be back next time. Peace out!